Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom, Yakum Nakwat out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And this one's an impromptu lesson. I was going to make another lesson tonight, Lord's will. I didn't think it was going to be on this. This just happened to pop up on the homepage. See if I can get the homepage to load. The internet's been acting a little funny lately. But, you know, usually it's some more stuff with the brothers. I mean, there's this one here, but sometimes they give you some bugged out people. Let's see if I can find another one. Sometimes it just only takes a couple scrollings or so. I had a couple on that one page, but no, it doesn't look like I have it. As a matter of fact, no, it was I already did it, but actually it showed it for a minute there. Hold up, bear with me. Let's see if it can. I want to see if I can show you something. Let me show you something. Let's see. Nah, they don't want to show it anymore. But there was a couple, you know, bugged out. See, now they're showing brothers and whatnot. But no, there's a couple bugged out Christians. They pop up. All right, everybody. I'm sure, you know, you brothers and sisters as well get these random crazy people that pop up every once in a while. And this happened to be one of those guys that happened to be one of those crazy bug out people that popped up. Right. Anyway, I'm not gonna waste too much time. But I was trying to find the list because there was a bunch of weird stuff. But this guy is, if you actually pronounce this, it would be Yahweh. All right, but the guy's name is Ra for Yah. Okay, as you can see, Ra for Yah. He's one of those Yah Israelites. And just by the title of the video, you can see this guy is, look, his discernment's shit. I don't know why discernment has been such a focus. All right, as of lately, you know, there was a lesson and the apostle was talking about discernment. I made a lesson about discernment. There was another situation where, you know, bad discernment was made, and now here I am again talking about discernment. So apparently the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is heavy on talking about discernment currently. And this guy is not using the right discernment. All right, another lesson about discernment. Let's go and look up discernment in case you haven't seen the previous lesson. All right, discernment is the ability to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly. All right, separating truth from falsehood, and from what's essential and from what's not, and from what's right to do and what's wrong to do. That's what they should have had. And it says it involves wisdom. Okay, keen insight and often spiritual guidance to make sound decisions, protect against deception, and align actions with deeper values, providing benefits like enhanced spiritual growth and improved relationships. The fact of the matter is that, look, you're not going to have discernment if you don't have wisdom. We talked about that in the last lesson that I made, the one prior to this. And it's the ability to rightfully divide. Okay, actually, as a matter of fact, there's a scripture. The heart and intents of men. That's not necessarily what we're talking about, but right here, Hebrews 14:12. It says, "For the word of Yahweh, all right, the word of Yahweh, the Lord, is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit." So, you know, soul and spirit, and dividing asunder. So divide, all right, there's a divide. "And of the joints and marrow," another divide. "And is the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart." So this truth is able to discern your thoughts, your intents, who you are. And how does that happen? You know, you're doing something and you get cut. Okay, you get cut. You don't like, you know, someone says something that you don't like. All right, and that cuts you. Okay, now is it something that you just didn't like them say because they said, oh, you know, the Kansas City Chiefs are way better than the 49ers? All right, no, I don't like that. I disagree. Or is it something spiritual and it's just pissing you off because you got demons on you? All right, this truth will discern that. All right, it's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. And if you are not, you know, pure in heart, you don't have the right intents, it'll cut your ass up and it'll leave you feeling sour, right? But that shows you dividing asunder. So what does divide Asunder mean? To split, tear, or break something into separate pieces or parts. Okay? Separation. A violent separation. So mind you, the double-edged sword is a violent separation. But again, it's a separation. That's discernment. Separating two different things. All right? One thing you should do, one thing you shouldn't do. One thing is righteous, one thing is wicked. All right? One thing is smart, one thing is dumb. All right? You shouldn't do it. And this guy lacks discernment. His title is Hired with Tassels and Fired because of it. He's talking about tassels, fringes, zeet seats, whatever you want to call them, right? Fringes is what they are, all right, within, in the correct term, a border of blue with fringes, all right? If you go and look up KJV, and then you look up fringes, okay, fringes. Now, I don't know about tassels. They might be in there. Yeah, I didn't think they were. Okay? And also, I don't think... Yeah, zeet seats aren't in there as well. That's a Jewish concept. Alright? It's fringes. Correct term is fringes. Not tassels, not zeet seats, not fluffy little things that hang at the end of the garment. None of that. And also, you said hired and fired with tassels. Well, I know whatever job you're at is not going to allow you to wear a biblical garment, so that probably means you're out here wearing fringe t-shirts. I haven't checked. I promise you, brothers, I have not checked this page. I want to see if he is wearing... Yep, fringe t-shirt. There you go. Fringe t-shirt. So, that's not a biblical garment. A t-shirt is not a garment. A t-shirt's a fucking t-shirt, man. Alright, that's what a t-shirt is. Anyway, hired with tassels and fired because of them. Alright, well, you're fired because of them because, look, man, you're in Esau society. Okay? They're going to persecute against you. Alright? And there's certain things that you're not always going to be able to do. Alright? The apostles and elders, Great Millstone, tell you directly, you shouldn't be wearing fringes to work. Okay? Is it wicked to do? No, but it's definitely not smart. Okay? It's definitely not smart. Okay, it's just like you wear. Well, I gotta wear my fringes. And, well, fringes are a reminder of us and Yahweh Shemiah Shai. Okay, first of all, and secondly, certain things, while they're not wicked, aren't necessarily. We're gonna get that. Aren't necessarily expedient or smart or beneficial for you to do. It's not really going to be beneficial for you to wear fringes. That's being a super Hebrew, man. Look, the Lord knows you're going to work, all right? You're under Caesar's rule, all right? And he's going to persecute you if you show up wearing fringes, man. All right? It's the same thing. If I showed up wearing this, now I got it when I first came in the truth, so it just has the Father's name on it, Yahweh, all right? But if, it's, you see those little leather pieces, Yahweh necklace. You see ones like this. This is the one. Not this one, but this. All right, ones like this. Usually they're they look like this. All right, this is the one, that I should have got, but I just got one that has the Father's name on it. This is the one you see a lot, but it's in usually in Yahweh Shai necklace. Anyway, they're like a piece of leather, just like that. That's been looks kind of like this. Here it is. This is basically the same one. This is the same one I had. Mine's in this might be the same person. I think this is the person, but yeah, this is them. They make all these. If you go and look, I can't find it now. But they used to make one. But anyway, this is what mine looks like, except it has a silver base. Right? I guess I could just show it. Let me grab it. It's over here. Now, block you. Hit the mic there. Now. Alright, this right here. Get it in frame. Alright? It's nice. Alright? I just wish it had the son's name on it. Well, but it's just a puck of leather. All right, it's a leather puck. They put like some type of like paint that's, I don't know, some type of silver paint, and they pressed it in. You can tell by looking at it. I think it's like they either pressed it or it was like branded in, like burnt in. Right now, if I wear this, right, if I wear this to work, and I don't know, someone has an issue with it, am I to be surprised? No, man. No. Let me go put this up. 1 minute. It's like you. Get situated again. if I wear that, damn it. If I wear that and someone has an issue with it, I actually really like that. That's really nice. I really enjoy that. It's one of those things where sometimes you see these people and it's like, do you want to support them or not? Yeshua and stuff. I bought my original ones off of a page like this. I've seen other brothers with them. I don't know if it was someone that was making for them or, you know, who it is or what it is. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's nice stuff, man. I do like that. I'm gonna save that. Again, I don't know the, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, ugh, should you really support them? But I don't know. I do like it. I'll save it so I can at least look at it. If anything, figure out how to make my own or not. I don't know. Like I said, I'll just use my discernment on it. I usually, you know, like I said, when I bought the original ones, I didn't know that sometimes, you know, they have all these they try to do everything. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'd necessarily want to support them. Anyway, maybe I'll go in and unsave that. But if I was to wear that to work, all right, back when I was new in this truth, I thought about doing it. All right. Thankfully, I have a wife that was, you know, more, again, my wife came in before me. She's like, don't do that. Don't do it. And I was like, well, why not? And she's like, just don't do it. It's just going to cause issues. I said, all right, I won't do it. But thankfully, I have that. Call all Yahweh Bash Meow Shai. I have I don't want to say it, a correct pillar of rest and one that can help with discernment. All right, that's how a woman should be able to do. They should be like, hey, baby, maybe you shouldn't do that. You know, well, why not? Well, you know, maybe it'll cause you some issues. And you sit back and you think about it and you say, yeah, maybe she's right on that. Right? That's the overall goal that's the purpose of a woman. All right? She helps a man decide. Okay? Not that the man doesn't make his own decisions, but she throws him things that help him decide, essentially. Help as a helpmeet, not necessarily the final verdict. She gives you something that can help. Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you get something from it, maybe you don't get something from it, and you move on. That's how it should be. So, call all Yahweh Shai. I had her, and she said, don't do that. Okay? And then I didn't do it. Because, yeah, it would have probably caused issues. All right? Especially because I had a boss at the time that already don't like black folk. Okay? So, he goes on and finds what that represents. What would that done? And I got let go from that job anyway because he had a bone to pick with me. Right? So, you can't be surprised. You're in Esau society. If I go, you know, it's the same thing. If you go to work talking about, oh yeah, those small hat, those 1948ers, you know, they're really not the real people. It's us. All right. Now, if you have a couple individuals that you talk to that you know, you can't really trust anybody, but you have some individuals that, you know, have a little bit of all right, what's going on. Like I had two individuals at my last job that knew, then, you know, maybe you could talk about it then, but, you know, one thing, when I talked about those people, when other people walk by, I say, hey, shh, keep it down. All right, let's keep it down. I don't want there to be no issues. Right? Because you don't want to be, oh, yeah, these fucking white people, they're really Edomites, and they trace back. We would talk about that sometimes, all right, because, again, these two people were in the know. All right, they weren't really in it as they should have been in it, but they were in the know. They didn't get offended. They didn't, hey, this motherfucker over here saying only. No, so I couldn't trust them, but I trusted them enough with that wouldn't become an issue. Now, and you got to be very careful of that. You got to really make sure that these people are in the know, right? I already maintained, you know, I was already cool with these guys before, you know, I brought those things up. And they were Jake, and oh yeah, both of them already had, you know, some semblance of an idea, all right? But I'm not going to bring it up with my boss. I'm not going to bring it up with other coworkers, right? These were two, customers, all right, that I happened to gain a relationship with over time. All right, and we talked about movies. They'd recommend movies, music, talking about the shit in the world, all the wickedness in the world, and all these things. And we eventually got there, right? But I'm not going to mention it with my coworkers, right? I'm not going to really talk about that, right? At all. And I even had some Jake coworkers, and I mentioned certain things. Actually, I'll take that back. I mentioned certain things because again, he was cool. He was receptive to certain things, okay? And I take that back. I told it to two coworkers. All right, one not so receptive of it. I could tell she wasn't going to be again discernment. I knew she wasn't going to be the type to be like, oh hey, he's saying all this, but she was kind of ghetto. But I just wanted to see how it worked. Right, what happened with her, and the age-old thing that you see happened with her. I saw her eyes light up and shut back down. That's the in one ear, out one ear. She said, oh wow. And I told her, I said, if I'm going too fast or anything you don't understand, just slow down. She said, yeah, this is a lot. I'm gonna be honest, this is a lot. It's interesting though. And then, you know, that was it. She never really wanted to hear anything more than that. She's like, that it's interesting. I like it. I'm not like, it's just it's a lot. It's a lot of information. And it's like, well, you know, she never asked for it again. All right. That's the thing. That's how you know. Okay. Those guys that I talk to, they come back and they'd want to talk about it again. Right. So again, I'm not saying base everything. I've done, you know, things that weren't very wise as far as discernment goes. But again, you know, wearing fringes to work, come on, man. Like, again, you know. Anyway, let's start this up and get some scriptures going, because I just want to I'm going to start with one immediately, because it's probably already been 10 minutes. It's been 15 minutes. Ecclesiastes, that shows you, see, a 10-minute lesson. All right, that's the minimum per day, as GMS has it. I'm not in GMS, but that's what I learned from. That's a minimum. 10 minutes, man, I already flew by it, and I haven't even finished what I'm going to do. So that shows you. But Ecclesiastes 7, it's easier than you think it is, brother. You brothers out there that are just starting lessons, it might seem like, what am I going to do for 10 minutes? It gets easier, all right? Yahweh Shemi Shai is going to guide you, all right? Just pray. Ecclesiastes 7:16, be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why should thou destroy thyself? Okay. Well, I gotta wear my fringes all the time. That's a represent. We know that's our relationship with Yahweh Shemi Shai. I gotta always, or in this case, with Yah. All right, because you're one of those Yah Israelites, which shows you don't have any discernment, because you don't even know that the Lord's name is not Yah. It's Yahweh. All right, Yahweh. This is 4 compounds. Yahweh. Ha. Okay. When you pronounce it, it's Yahweh, okay? With 4 compounds, you know, it's written Yahweh, okay? But it's Yahweh, all right? So, YH, Ha, HA, and then WAH. So the last is 3. So the first 2, 2 letters, Ha, 2 letters, Wa, 3 letters, okay? Yahweh. Okay, but when you actually write it out, it's gonna look like Yah, Ha, Wa, Ha. When you actually go Yah, Ha, Wa, Ha. When you actually do it, but you cut the A, Yah, Ha, Wa. Okay. Anyway, a little mini breakdown, but and I can see that you believe in Yeshua as well, not you know, or in you know, probably, you know, all that Yeshua, Yahushua, all those different things, not Yahweh. But not Yahweh and Yahushai, but Yahweh or Yah and Yeshua or Yahuwah or Yahushua. You know, all these different. No, man. So you really don't have discernment, because you don't have the names. So you're really at a lock. All right, a locking point. And 662 motherfuckers like this, man. If you go and look on the Apostles videos, some of them are gonna have that. But it's a damn shame that some moron like this, all right, is getting 662 likes. When you can have an edifying video such as, try to grab any of the Apostles videos. I'll just go and grab one right now. Boom. I'll just go and grab this video right here. All right, 4 days ago. Boom. 55. Right, and this ain't a ministry of likes at the end of the day, but 55 likes for something that's really edifying, compared to 662 for some fucking dumb shit. Anyway, let's go and listen to this guy. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
On my drive home, I was talking to my wife, and Yah brought something to me while I was in that office, in that scenario of a man sitting there, you know, telling me everything's all good in the system, and we're completing your program or all these things, and we have your tools that are issued for you and this bag issued for you. You know, the image was painted so great that you have a future here. But you got to do one thing. We got to do something about your tassels. Shalom, everybody. Just wanted to make a short video. Hopefully it's short anyway. Just a brief.
And you cheated yourself out of a blessing, dude. All because you wanted to be over righteous. All because you wanted to be over righteous. You could have had everything, but you got to do something about the tassels. Just don't take them off, man. Take them off. Well, no, because that's saying if I look, you ain't supposed to be wearing tassels. I've seen people wearing tassels out in Target, you know, and it's funny because Target, you're putting a target on your back, all right, by wearing those. Well, the Lord's gonna protect. Look, man, you can't be over righteous. I would say overzealous, and in a way, it is overzealous as well. But you're being over righteous, all right. The Lord's knows you're not gonna be able to do things perfect in every single situation. Here it is, you're trying to wear. Oh, I gotta wear my tassels all the time. So you're just keeping all the commandments, right? Well, yeah, of course I am. We're supposed to. We're supposed to the best of our ability. I better never see you ever drinking out of a water bottle. All right. I better never see you drinking out of a water bottle. All right. Why? Because it's made out of pork. All right. Plastic is made out of animal fats, and they say it's beef, but a lot of the time it's pork. All right, because pork is a cheaper animal fat. Right. So you'd be going off. You'd be unclean. So at that point, no point, right? There's times where you're gonna do things and go off without even meaning to go off. Or for example, I went off. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I went off yesterday, or it's 1 a.m. now. So I went off the day before yesterday because me and my wife happened to stop into a Hobby Lobby. All right, and we were in the leather section, and I said, "What are these small strips of leather?" You know what it was? It was pig leather. Okay, pig leather, right? I don't know it's pig leather. We're in the whole leather section. I've never seen pig leather, right? In that section, I've never seen it before. It must have been a new addition because they have the large strips of leather, then they have the smaller craft sizes of leather. You can buy it in a roll, or you can buy the smaller sizes. I said, oh, this must be this, because you can't tell the difference by looking at it. I mean, it looks like the same stuff, right? And I said, oh, this must be if you go and look up leather, all right, and then you go look up pig leather. I mean, it looks the same, right? When you see it, when you see this and this, all right, and then you see this and this and this, you're like, okay, you have to really be up on it. I don't know. See, these look a little bit different. These ones might be pig leather. See, it's, again, you got to read the label. And it wasn't until, I picked it up, I sniffed it, because, I was like, this doesn't really smell like leather. This must be pleather. All right, because it also felt different. I said, this must be pleather. I picked it up, looked at it, sniffed it. All right, I didn't initially read the label because I figured, again, I've never seen pig leather in Hobby Lobby. I've only seen the cow leather. So I picked it up, smelt it. I said, this must be fake. Is this like fake leather? And then that's when I read it, and I said, oh, pig leather, pig skin. Well, there we go. I said, Slacky, how about you, meow shy? And I moved about my day. All right, how was I supposed to know? Right? There's times where you're going to go off, and you didn't even mean to go off. Right? And that's why we have the mercy of Yahweh Meow Shy. You shouldn't be wearing fringes to work. All right? Anyway. I'm not going to even do your whole story because at the end of the day, we already got everything we need to know. He wanted you to take those fringes off. All right, for those just saying tuck them in, I'll explain where that's coming from. This is not me telling anybody how they should wear theirs. Everyone has to study and walk out their own conviction before Yah. I'm only sharing what I personally found through prayer and studying the Hebrew for myself. For me, it's similar to the Sabbath. Yah said the Sabbath was made for man, meaning it was given for our good, yet it was still given with instruction in the same way. Even though fringes are for our remembrance, I still believe the pattern of how they are worn matters. Well, here's the thing, man. It's the same thing with Sabbath. There's sometimes you're going to have to work on Sabbath, okay? Now, people who work on Sabbath are worthy of death according to the Bible, right? According to Yahweh Shemiyah. He put a man to death because he was gathering sticks on the Sabbath, mind you. All right, purposeful work. All right, we purposely go to work. Now, if we could get the days off, we're not going to purposely, in that case, be like, oh, I'm gonna try to get an hour in today. I ain't got nothing better to do. No, but if we, if the Sabbath happens to be falling on a Wednesday to Thursday or Thursday to Friday, depending on how the new moon goes, this guy's probably a Friday sundown to Saturday sundown kind of guy, or Friday to Saturday, sundown to Sunday. All right, or he could be a Saturday to Sunday type of guy. I don't know. But my guessing is that he's probably a Friday to Saturday type of guy with the whole Yah thing going on. Most of those guys usually are, I believe. And if not, Slakia, not purposely bearing false witness. That's what I'm guessing. All right, that's an educated guess because that's what I've seen most of these Yah guys do, Friday to Saturday. And again, man, at work, you're gonna say, sorry, can't come in today. I got to call. We're gonna keep calling out. Because Sabbath switched, right? And you gotta say, oh, excuse me, boss, I know I had Thursday and Friday off, but now I need Friday and Saturday off. And that's where I think you're thinking about this. That's why I think you're thinking like this, because I believe, and again, my belief doesn't, I could actually go and check about Sabbath. Just type in look Sabbath. And look, you got a white woman. Do we fear man or Yah? And you got a white woman with you, and I don't know if, do we fear Yah? Well, if she's an Edomite, she doesn't fear anybody, right? Let's see, Sabbath. Let's see. I'm trying to find it out. Trying to do my research. So he thinks Sabbath is morning to morning. So again, you know, this guy's bugged out. But let's see what else we have. Tazdoc calendar. So all this, man, this guy's bugged out. So I'm gonna go see if he mentions Saturday. Let's see. I'm on at work.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom.
This is
And she could be a Jake. I'm not going. I did go a little bit quick with the skin color, but who knows? I doubt. I don't even. This guy just doesn't even run me as a Jake, if I'm being honest.
Amanda and Caleb. We're just speaking on another topic that we came across, another deep treasure that Yahuwah has baraked us with, and we just wanted to share it with you guys. And my wife has a little story she'd like to share with y'all.
So,
No thanks.
Get your strong.
I'm alright. You're saying all these Elohim. See. Elohim created the Shemayim. Are you one of these Torah type guys? I get it. Which, yeah, if you're see. Let's see. They're the one, and they say Yisrael and all these different things. Let me try to find. I'm just trying to find the exact day. I'm guessing it would be. It doesn't matter if you keep it sunset to sunset or sunrise to sunrise. As long as you keeping it, that's a pet. It does matter. All right. I can't find it, but if he's doing the whole Torah thing, he's a Friday to Saturday guy, right? More than likely. But anyway, let's get these scriptures and close out. Ecclesiastes 7:16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldst thou destroy thyself? Again, we already got it. Don't be over righteous, all right? Because if you're trying to be over righteous, you're ultimately going to destroy yourself. You're going to have to sit in the room and hover and twiddle your thumbs and never leave it. All right, and I mean, you're gonna have to grow all your different food and you better hope you never grew it in some type of tainted soil. There's so many different things, man. These people out here, they're over righteous. We can only do we can only do so much. We can only do our best, okay? And that would mean not eating any food at the store, okay? If we're trying to keep it perfectly, all right? Not doing our best, all right? Keeping it perfectly would mean not eating any food at the store because, there's already been things that have come out that there's human meat in the food supply, so you can't do that. What about the bugs and all these different unclean things that are in the food? Well, then can't eat that either. All right, you're not supposed to be eating animal feces. That's in the food as well. All right, you're not supposed to be eating cockroaches. Cockroaches are in the food as well. Well, it depends. I don't think cockroaches are technically a beetle, but matter of fact, are cockroaches a beetle? They're not beetles. So no, they're not beetles. So that means you can't eat them. Okay. So, because there's certain, I think beetles are certain beetles you can eat. I think beetles you can eat because it says, and the beetle are beetles kosher. I think they are. Let me see. One minute. Yeah, it is kosher. Even these of this is Leviticus 11 in verse 22. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. So yes, you can eat beetles. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyway, shows you, should you be listening to these Jewish people? No, they don't even listen to the Bible, dude. Anyway, Ecclesiastes 7:16 reads, be not righteous. Oh, we already got that. Slack it. Matthew 10:16 reads, behold. Oh, anyway, before I get onto this, slack it. So you can't be over righteous, and you know there's more than just beetles, right? There's cockroaches, so you can't eat that. So you can't eat any food, right? You better get yourself your own cow. All right, you better get yourself your own area to grow stuff. All right, and hope that you have the right seeds that Esau hasn't messed with. And then on top of that, as far as fabrics go, you better be wearing only 100% cotton, and you can't trust Esau to sell 100% cotton as 100% cotton because it could sell polyester in the threading. So you have to go and pick your cotton yourself, get yourself a cotton mill, all right, and roll that out and weave it into a shirt, all right? You better do this for you and everybody in your household, right? And you better do it for your pants, your drawers, your socks. All right, you better do it all that. Better get you some leather and make you some loafers, some slippers for your shoes. Right, you're not gonna be able to do those things. Right, that's being over righteous. That's we can't keep. First of all, we can't keep the law perfectly anyway. That's why we have mercy. It's not to just do whatever you want. Okay, it's to do it to the best of our ability. Certain things aren't going to be possible for us to do like that. All right, and keep 100%. There's times we're not going to be able to wear fringes, all right, when we're out and about or going to work or wherever we happen to be. There's going to be times, all right, where we're going to have to work on Sabbath. There's going to be times where we have to cook on Sabbath. You're not even supposed to cook on Sabbath. There's going to be times where we have to do those things, and that's why mercy is given to us. All right, we're not bound by the law in that sense, because we would just be put to death instantly because we're in a wicked society. Esau makes it very, very hard. All right, well, you got to come in or you're going to be fired. Well, some people can't afford to get fired because they'll lose their homes, they'll lose their apartments, they'll lose their car, they'll lose certain things. People got kids to feed. So you think the Lord's going to be like, oh, well, you worked on Sabbath, so I'm going to kill you now. No, he's not. No, not in that state. Again, that's why that was Yahushai's sacrifice. Okay. That he covered our sins. Again, we're not going to be perfect, and the Lord knows what we're capable of and what we're not capable of. He knows if you're working on Sabbath because they made you work on that day, or if you specifically call and say, hey man, I ain't really got much to do on today. Can I get some of them hours? Yeah, he might put you to death for that one, right? So, and he might have mercy on you depending, right? But that's a situation that's punishable. Just going into work because again, the Lord knows our situation. The Lord knows our situation. So Matthew 10:16 says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we got to be smart. And also, we're sheep among wolves, man. If they see you with those fringes, they're going to fire you. All right. If they see that you're on the video on the internet making lessons, they're probably going to fire you. If they happen to drive by and they see you on the side of the street making camp videos, all right, out there on the highways and byways, they might fire you. Not always, but they might. Okay, I remember one of the elder brothers, I believe it was Elder Menatazatba, not to put his business out there, but he made a lesson on it, so I hope I'm okay with speaking about it. If not, slack you, brother. My apologies. But he was saying that I guess one of his coworkers, I think, and I could be telling the story, you know, a little bit not 100%, you know, accurate, but I believe what my understanding was that he had a coworker that had an issue with him or something like that, or someone saw him out on the highways and byways, and they reported it to the boss. And I guess the boss, you know, I don't remember the whole situation was. I think they got, I think the elder got moved or something, or he, you know, got a pay cut. Something happened. I can't remember exactly. All right. But it wasn't an ideal situation either way, right? It wasn't an ideal situation to have either way. So again, you know, sometimes things like that are going to happen. Again, these people wolves are at worst sheep. What do wolves try to do to sheep? They try to kill them. They try to attack them. They do all these things. So we have to be smart. We have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Okay, we have to make it seem like, oh well, you know, this guy, I don't know. I mean, he's not all too bad, you know, and yeah. Whatever, man. You know, just look, just don't do that stuff here. All right, and just work. All right, and don't, you know, maybe you can get a situation like that. And ultimately, I believe that brother, I don't know if he moved on since then. He kept his job, but sometimes there might be a situation where you do lose your job, and that's fine because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has better things planned for you. All right. So 1 Corinthians 6:12, it says, all things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the pillow of any. So that shows you just because things are lawful doesn't mean it's necessarily a smart thing for you to do. All right. Let's see if it can correctly break it down. No, it doesn't. Let's see if I can get it over here. Right. All things are lawful for me, English Standard Version, but not all things are helpful. Okay, all things are lawful for me, but I will not be dominated by anything. So all things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. And that doesn't mean everything's lawful. Don't get that twisted. It's dealing with the context. Not everything that's lawful is what this is saying. Is not everything that's lawful is beneficial, all right, for your current situation. Okay, yes, it is lawful to wear fringes, but it's not going to be beneficial for you to wear them to the store. Okay, the Lord's not going to condemn you because you took your fringes off. All right, yes, it is a remembrance, all right, between you and the Lord. But again, the Lord's not going to look at you sideways because you didn't wear your fringes to the store. Matter of fact, you're supposed to be being circumspect. In Ephesians 5:15, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. And it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. That's verse 16. Now, circumspectly means acting in caution. Prudent goes back to using discernment. Judging from right from wrong. Am I, or being able to think about, you know, circumspect, it really means, it means wary and unwilling to take risks, all right? Okay, in a circumspect manner. It means wary and unwilling to take risks. In a way that is careful and avoids risks, all right? Or careful to consider all circumstances and possible consequences. What could be a possible consequence of you wearing fringes to work? You could lose your job, okay? You could lose your job. Someone could say, he's wearing fringes. He's one of those Hebrew Israelites. They hate white people, boss. They hate white people. They hate white people. Oh, my God. Yeah, that would be a fucking nightmare to be in, wouldn't it? So don't put yourself in that position. Be circumspect. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. And then finally, Romans 6:14, for sin shall not have dominion over you, for you're not under law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin because we're not under the law, but under grace? Yahweh forbid. So again, just because we're under law doesn't mean we get to sin willfully, but we do have that grace if we can't wear fringes, or we have to go into work on Sabbath, or we have to cook on Sabbath, or we have to, we were driving home and we started running out of gas. He said, shit, I guess I'm gonna have to run out and leave the car here. I'm gonna have to walk 8 miles home, all right, because I can't buy gas on this. No, just buy the gas, all right? Look, have some humility. You don't want to do it, but dang, man, all right, I'm gonna have to buy this gas. Please forgive me, and go about your day. Okay, the Lord knows your situation. He's put you in those situations. First of all, okay, you don't have to try to be some super Hebrew. All right, you're only gonna end up destroying yourself. But that's the lesson, man. Just a little short one, as I say, as it's probably 40 minutes long. Yeah, 40 minutes. I thought this was gonna be 10 minutes, but yeah. Anyway, that's a lesson. Lord, what was edifying? Again, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom. Until the next one, Lord willing. Shalom.